Marquette, obviously, I know 12 turnovers isn't necessarily the number you love in normal situations, but against that defense, I feel like it was better than Boston.
Well, obviously Steven did an incredible job. Having Stevie Mitchell chase him all night and only turn it over one time is a credit to him and the things that he learned coming off that St. John's game to prepare for the Marquette game. But I thought we were just a little bit more sure with our passing and catching, and didn't take as many chances, which you can't do against a Marquette team that's so aggressive like that. So. I think that's the reason we had a chance to win, plain and simple. We turned it over 17, 18 times like we did against St. John's. We were going to be in big trouble.
I know you missed some shots and probably wants back, but is that as healthy as he notices the ankle?
Yeah, I think so. And, hopefully, we have had a couple days off here this week, and we'll go today and then have tomorrow off again. So I think that'll really help him. I have to be really careful with him and Kalk and Jemiah right now because of the amount of minutes they're logging, and Steven's having to do it on both ends of the floor. So it's we're going to have to manage their legs in practice a little bit.
I think you talked about it in Milwaukee a couple of nights ago, but what do you think lets them go on that run at the end of the first half?
Yeah, there were several things. There was an offensive rebound or two in there. I think there was a run-out turnover for one of those baskets, and then we didn't finish some plays at the rim that we have to finish. And and then when we got open threes, we didn't necessarily knock them down. So it's part of the game. You knew there's going to be a run, and we had our share of runs in that game as well, but. That one lasted a little bit too long, and unfortunately, it was a little bit too much for us to get all the way back from.
They're a team that takes you out of your base offensively, almost just exclusively because you just can't guard 5 out the way you want to. What did you guys learn about your versatility, defensively, potentially, considering that was the matchup?
Yeah, what we did worked. Stevie was 2 of 9, and one of the other guys we didn't guard, I think, was 1 of 5 or 6. So they shot the shots we wanted them to take. They took a lot of mid-range, floater range type shots, which Marquette doesn't generally do. So from a defensive perspective, I think it played out about as well as it possibly could for us. We did have to get into some switching because the problem is when you put Kalk on a guard, you're going to get cross-matched a lot in transition. It's hard for him to get matched up because he's chasing an offensive rebound and he's running with their front line players. So that happened on several occasions, so we had to do some switching. And, for the most part, I like some of the things I saw with that. And, obviously we'll have to build on that as we continue to move forward.
You talked about how much more important is that going to be over this next month, starting Saturday for 10 games in a month?
Yeah, we go all the way to February 16th or 17th without another bye. So it's going to be really critical that we're careful with what we do in practice. Now, today's a unique opportunity to work on ourselves, and then we'll get into the prep on Thursday. But we're going to have to watch it, and that's where Jeremy Anderson and Ben McDermott come in on making sure that I have the data that I need to make sure if we need to back some of these guys off, we do so. Yeah, every game's important this time of year, and you look at Butler's lost 6 or 7 in a row, but outside of the North Dakota State game, if you look at the rest of them, they played a heck of a schedule. Houston, Wisconsin, Marquette, UConn, Villanova, St. John's. So they've played really good teams, and they've been right there in most of those games. So they've played in some of the games they lost have been very similar to ours, where we're right there and we just can't figure out a way to finish it. But we're going to play a desperate team on Saturday, regardless of how their game goes tomorrow night. We'll have an electric crowd, and it's a really big game for both teams.
You guys have been without Pop for a month now. Where do you think that you guys have had to adjust the most, and overall, how do you think you guys have adjusted to not have that?
We're getting there. Obviously, it's not easy, and anybody that watches us play from a ball handling perspective, we're one short. Now, we have to get Fedor a little bit more comfortable in what we're doing, and this week hopefully will help in that regard as well. Coming off a long layover, not really practicing with the top team, and then you get St. John's and Marquette as your first 2 games. That's not an ideal situation. So hopefully this week in practice we can nudge him a little bit more forward, and he can give us a little bit more of that ball handling that we need.
Talked about consistency being the key for Jemiah this season. When you look at the big games he's had, kind of what are the plays that he's making? Like, how is he making an impact on you?
Just simple, like when he simplifies his game, he's a heck of a player. And I was really proud of the way he played against Marquette, not just on the offensive end, but defensively. He had the assignment with Cam for most of the game, and I thought he did a good job of cutting him off and making some of the things that he was doing difficult. And then offensively, he, for a guy that wasn't a great assist-to-turnover guy in the past, he's really embraced the role of, making the extra pass to a shooter or finding Kalk inside, and that's been very encouraging to see. So I couldn't be more pleased with Jemiah's progress.
You have a lot of new guys on the team. I know you have Steven and Kalk still, but have you tried to tell them, like, hey, even though Butler is 0-3, 0-2, whatever it is, this is still a Big East game?
We know. I mean, everybody understands how hard Big East games are. It doesn't matter, who you play or where you play them. If you're not hooked up and you're not ready to go, you're going to get beat, and you have a chance to get beat soundly if you're not ready. So, we prepare for every opponent with the same level of intensity and respect and focus, and that won't change this week.
New Year's resolution, if you have one.
Oh, right now I don't have one. But maybe to avoid the media. That'd be a good one.
Thanks, Matt.
Media members under 5'9". Oh boy, that's it. Yeah. Now this is pointed. It's clearly one direction.